Hey friends, if you have a couple of dollars to burn and you are looking for some summer fragrances, this might be the video for you. I'm really excited that we're doing a flash 30% off sale using my code Veronica30 at soavantgarde.com. All of the details will be linked below. The sale will run today, Friday through Monday. However, there are some fragrances that are likely going to sell out or are at risk of selling out, particularly because they're newer on the market or in high demand. So if I were you and you know you want some of these fragrances, I would trot on over to that website, add to cart, and check out now. And you can always go back this weekend and use the code again if you're interested. The code is available all weekend for your use. There are two brands that are not part of the sale, Mind Games and Born to Stand Out. If you're interested in Mind Games, you can shop on that website, mindgamesfragrance.com, and my code is Veronica10 for 10% off there. But those two brands are not part of the sale. Everything else on the website is fair game for a full 30% off. You know, I'm a discount queen. And I love a good 30% discount, especially on some of these fragrances that are hard to find anywhere else. I have about 10 recommendations that are in the feminine territory for summer that I think are absolutely beautiful for you to check out. I will have other recommendations down in the pinned comment. And I have two other videos that I filmed during other So Avant Garde sales that I've done. This is my third one with them, but I have two other videos that I will link below if you would like to binge on recommendations for So Avant Garde. Before we get into the recommendations, I do want to share that So Avant Garde has a wide variety of fragrances on the website and some brands that I have really been enjoying exploring lately. So I'll just call some of those out. You'll see a few from these brands in my lineup today. They've got Acro, Andrea Mac, Clive Christian, BDK Parfums, Initio, Fragrance Dubois. There's some Floricu on the site. I'm waiting for them to stock up on more because it's game on then. I've been really obsessed with them. Juliet Has a Gun. They have Memo Paris, Mise en Cire, a full range of Nichane fragrances, Parfums de Marly, Plume Impression, Royal Crown, Sospiro, Tamine, The Harmonist, The House of Oud, one of my favorite houses, Tiziana Terenzi, Quinto Canto, Veronique Gabai, Widian. I also have a Widian and House of Beau video that I will link below so you can see some of the recommendations from Widian. Now let's jump into some really top recommendations for summertime. One of the new kids on my fragrance block here in this house that is so beautiful, the minute that I sniffed it, I knew that we would be good friends. This is from Plume Impression and this is Pop Heart, and it was sold out for a while and it came back in stock and I went and snatched it, and it's in danger of sort of selling out again this weekend because this is a really popular one. It's $205 retail, so think 30% off of that. And I'm going to tell you, it's worth every penny of the full $205 I would pay full price for this. The notes here are fruity at the top, apple, pineapple, strawberry. And so when it opens up, it is this very bright, juicy, summery, fruity accord that is very captivating and immediately pulls you into the fragrance experience. In the middle, there's raspberry, rose, and magnolia. So it's a little bit floral, but it still stays pretty fruity from the opening into the middle experience. And then in the base, there's caramel, vanilla, and musk. And what I like about the caramel in this fragrance is it does not present like your typical caramel as you would have in a food experience, but that caramel adds this level of sweetness to the entire composition that makes this very feminine, fruity, leaning in slightly gourmand territory for those of you that are gourmand lovers, yet it stays fairly light enough to wear into hot weather here. I mean, this is a fragrance I would wear all year round, but the happy, jovial nature of the fruity experience in this fragrance really lends itself to spring and summertime and maybe early fall as well. And it's a pretty feminine fragrance, and I'm enjoying sampling Plume Impression overall, and I'll call out a few that I think are also worth your time. Murmur d'Ete, which I did not purchase a full bottle of because I am not particularly a fig lover, but that is this beautiful, almost milky fig fragrance that has, I believe it's sandalwood in the base. Yes, woody tones to it, and it's very sweet. It's very unisex. Royal Bourbon, which is like your fall spicy vanilla bomb with some leather and caramel and boozy notes. Really fantastic. I have Art Nouveau, although that one is sold out, so I'm not going to talk about that with y'all because I don't want you to salivate over the beauty that that fragrance is. And then Rivalite Imperial is another one that I enjoy, which is deep, dark, fruity, spicy, tobacco, tonka, vanilla, sandalwood, and absolutely worth checking out, especially for those of you that are already shopping for fall and winter. If you're into leathery fragrances, check out Elegance Curie or Curé. Absolutely gorgeous, beautiful, clean, leather smelling fragrance. Let's go on to recommendation number 2. One that captured my warm weather heart from the minute that I tried this one out, from Parfums de Marly, Delina La Rosée. Gorgeous, fruity, floral, and it's a lot of like pink and white floral combined. If you think about the colors, pink and white, and what that might smell like in a fragrance. At the top, lychee and pear stand out. The pear is a nice watery pear, and the lychee to me just adds some fruitiness. There's rose and peony and other flowers in the middle. And then there's this soft musk in the base. There's woods and other notes, but that's really what you get. That nice fruity translucent opening and that middle experience of those beautiful florals together. This is a very sort of watery, translucent, light wearing fragrance, but it does stay on you for the whole day. And the musk in here is really nice for summertime. It's a very sort of clean musk, not overwhelming and definitely not overpowering. Others that stand out from Parfums de Marly for me that are sitting out on the website and available, because we know we love Valleja, but Valleja is sold out on the website right now. Of course, they have some of the male fragrances, one of my favorite being Wian. I love that. I have it in my collection and I wear it. Delina is available, as is Delina Exclusive. You have the Delina body cream as well, if you're a cream kind of person. And then Cassili, which is sitting in my cart and I will be bringing home finally. So, but this is my top recommendation for summer from Parfums de Marly. Then one of my favorites from the house of Thameen or Tameen. Does anyone know how to pronounce the name of this house? Please drop it in the comments and make sure that you have heard it from the perfumer or someone in the house themselves, because we have all kinds of pronunciations for this out here in social media. But Patiala is gorgeous. I have a few other recommendations from here, but this is probably one of my top picks. I fell in love with it as this sort of quintessential, easy wearing, sophisticated citrus floral fragrance. And so the florals in here are orange flower and rose. And then there's an ambery, musky base. The musk is, again, very sort of soft here, not overpowering at all. The amber lends a lot of warmth. And so this for me is a leaning into mature territory without smelling vintage or old fashioned or anything, but beautiful citrus floral more than anything else. Ah, so pretty. Has been compared to BR 540, which I find interesting. And I forget what else it's been compared to, but you know how we like to compare everything to BR 540. There might be a couple of little aspects of that in this fragrance, but definitely not a dupe by any means. And if you don't like that fragrance, you might very well like this one. It's a fragrance that I would put on when I wanted to feel very feminine and live in the full age of who I am, which is very close to 50. You know, I can see this being early 30s into more mature years type of fragrance, because it takes a certain kind of personality to pull off the totality of what this fragrance is. It is very present, it's very feminine, it's very sophisticated, decently lasting and nicely projecting, and pretty much a crowd pleaser. So this one is out there for $220, so 30% off of that. Others from Thameen that come to mind for me, Chords is a new one. You'll hear me talk about that in a video that's going to post probably this weekend sometime, the weekend of the sale. Absolutely gorgeous, very sensual leather. It is masculine, and it is one that I want to purchase for my husband and maybe sneak aware of it here or there myself. I think that one is going to dethrone ombre leather from Tom Ford. Shocker, but it is absolutely a stunning, stunning fragrance. And then the other that's available is Bravi, which is tuberose and honey and vanilla and tobacco. Really interesting fragrance, gingery. I have a review of that in some video somewhere. That one is not for the faint of heart. So you have to really like a bold, honeyed floral fragrance to pull that one off. It's got great longevity and great projection. And then there's also a discovery set that's out there for $95, 30% off of that if you're interested in trying the house. So you know that I'm deep down in the Veronique Gabai rabbit hole. I love the design of the bottles. Everything that I've tried from the house I've enjoyed so far. And I like that Veronique Gabai herself is committed to the highest quality materials for each of her fragrances. And there are several that I could recommend, but I'm going to go with Verdant Dior as we get into the very high heat here in July and August. The keynotes here are mint, a really pronounced mint in the opening, but it's a very soft mint. If you've tried Virgin Mint from Carolina Herrera, which I also own, it is that sort of beautiful, soft wearing mint, but noticeable. Lemon to add some brightness. And then there's this nice crisp cedar wood that shines through in the fragrance as well. Really easy wearing. I believe I talked about this ad nauseum in my So Fresh and So Clean video because it makes me feel like that and is perfect for summer. So this one is $260 retail, 30% off of that this weekend. A couple of others that are out on the website that I can recommend: Jasmine de Minuit and also Noir de Mai, or Noir de Mai, I think is the actual pronunciation, which is this gorgeous, almost like darker rose fragrance that's really beautiful. But for summertime, you can't beat this one. I wish also that they had Sur la Plage out on So Avant Garde, which is from this house too. And that is this very soft floral seaside smelling fragrance that I'll talk about in an upcoming video, but it's not on there. Verdant Dior is my top recommendation from what's available. And then for the Clive Christian fans who have been waiting for a sale because these price tags are, they're pretty hefty. I'm going to recommend for summer, Jump Up and Kiss Me Ecstatic. There's a hedonistic version too that I think has some more masculine notes in it. But for summer, this is a beautiful, clean tuberose, and it has some nice complexity from some hefty notes in the base. There's sandalwood, there's amber, and tonka bean. It doesn't lean gourmand at all. So sometimes people hear tonka bean and they think sweet and gourmand and highly feminine. Yes, it is highly feminine. However, it stays, for me, a really sort of uplifting tuberose fragrance with some complexity to back it up. This is for me primarily a tuberose fragrance. There's something interesting here in the description on the website that I want to point out, because this is in an upcoming video where I talk about elegant, luxurious summer fragrances, and I recommend this. And I noticed that they talk about this having a powdery medicinal tone, which I didn't know about before. I hadn't read the description on here, and I mentioned that in the website. For me, that's really in the opening. As this continues to settle down, it is mostly this beautiful tuberose accompanied by other florals with a little bit of that sandalwood and femininity in the base. And it's a pretty alluring fragrance with a nice scent trail, and one that'll probably get you a compliment or two. Now, the other one from the house that I am fully obsessed with is Blonde Amber. That's on my husband's shelf, and it is everything that I want a cold weather fragrance to be, which is why I'm not recommending it here for the summer. It's woody, it has some boozy tones, it has some florals in it. I believe there's some spices and maybe even some leather, and it's dark in all the right ways without being overwhelming or overpowering. And I believe that one does that have a tuberose note as well? I think, no, I'm gonna have to look it up. Give me a second. Yes, it sure does. It has tobacco and tuberose and that sweet dried fruit in the middle. Beautiful. It doesn't talk about leather, but it has those kinds of woody, leathery tones in it. This is Blonde Amber is perfection to me. And it's unisex, but leaning in the masculine direction-ish, for those of you that need to know that. So if that's not for you, it might be for your guy or someone who enjoys masculine leaning fragrances. But for the ladies who want the beautiful floral and want to be maybe chased down for how they smell, try Jump Up and Kiss Me Ecstatic. One that I do not own, but I have sampled and really, really enjoyed, and I think is probably at risk of being in the sold out category, and it has sold out on other websites, now back in stock. But you're going to get 30% off this weekend if you purchase through So Avant Garde. And this is from Atelier des Ors, and this is Blue Madeleine in this gorgeous bottle with the blue tones in it. You know, I don't love the gold flakes as much, but I'm gonna look past that for this fragrance. And this one is like a warm, comforting tea fragrance is the best way to describe it. It has some milky tones. The tea that's in here is black tea, but for me, it just comes across almost like a comforting green tea. If you've ever had a jasmine tea with a little hint of honey in it, it gives me those vibes. There's definitely this sort of milky lactonic type of accord in the fragrance. A tiny bit of citrus, like just a little hint, and a hint of some spices. And then you get this sweet praline sandalwood in the base, which is just lovely. This is a gorgeous fragrance. It's nicely soft wearing and comforting. You know, it's a fragrance that I would think of as like a summer rainy day and or sweater weather fragrance. Like if you have cool days in the summer, this might be one to pull out. Now, if you want, so that, wait a minute, let me back up. That is $275 retail. So you get 30% off of that. If you want a truly summer fragrance for Atelier des Ors, I would definitely suggest checking out Pink Me Up, which people have described as this really girly Barbie doll smell. I tried it a while back and remember thinking it was very pretty. Blank Polychrome, for those of you that like a bright citrusy fragrance, maybe one that has some minty tones in it. I haven't tried that, but that's how I've heard it described. It is on sale for $168, so you get an additional 30% off of that. That's sitting out in my cart. And then of course you have the new Via Primrose, which is a nice rose fragrance with some peppery tones and a little bit of musk. It's lovely. I don't want Via Primrose because I have others like that, or Villa Primrosa. However you want to pronounce that. I don't want that one because I have fragrances that fit the bill, but it's gorgeous and it's in a pink bottle. And if you've been looking at that and have tried it, check it out. And then, of course, you have Rouge Soleil, which is kind of like Lune Filine. They favor each other, except the Rouge Soleil, I believe, has these like dark, fruity date notes, like these sugared, dried fruit notes in it that set it apart from Lune Filine and is great for fall and winter. But the top recommendation, because it will likely sell out or be of high interest this weekend, is Blue Madeleine. And it's in my cart coming home to mama. Now, let me put y'all on to a few fragrances that you probably don't hear a whole lot about. In my cart and coming home to who? Mama, is one from Widian that wasn't even on my radar. I happened to order a sample of this thinking I'll just throw it in because I'm looking at Widian samples, so let's add this in too and see what that's all about. And it is Rose Arabia White. I'm looking down at my decant because I recently tried this out and was shocked that I loved it so much. I've tried the rose, look, just smelling it wafting up from my hand is just like beauty, absolute beauty. I'm going to tell you what I think it smells like, and then we're going to go take a look at the notes. But I also tried Rose Arabia Lily, which is beautiful, a little strong for the folks in my house, and then Rose Arabia Almond, which is beautiful too. But my heart is taken with Rose Arabia White. I would describe it as having a really strong, creamy almond or other kind of nutty accord. These beautiful, soft, honeyed florals or sugared florals, maybe not honey, maybe sugared, and some kind of ambery, slightly musky base. Now let's see what the notes tell us we're supposed to be picking up here. Oh, this is from Widian. Did I say that? Sorry, a house that I have become recently just obsessed with because of the high quality and beauty of their fragrances. So notes here, plum, peach, woods, and musk. That's what they want you to pick up, those specific accords. There's tonka bean in the base, a white musk. That definitely stands out. Heliotrope and ylang-ylang, which is probably giving it that sort of nutty and sweet yellow floral kind of feel to it. What I can say is that this fragrance presents so beautifully soft and feminine. Like, this is the definition of someone living their soft life. This is the soft life in a bottle, and I must have a bottle of this for my collection. It's a stunner of a fragrance. And it's on the less expensive end of the Widian fragrances at $185, so you get 30% off of that. I've fallen down the Widian rabbit hole, so I have very many to recommend, but I'll keep it short and say I love Banillas Liwa. There's also Healy, which I do like. It hasn't come into love territory for me. A lot of you love that one as a tropical floral with coconut and other florals and a nice, like, it's got a lot of junk in its trunk. Like, it has some meat to it as a summer floral. Delma, which is a gorgeous floral fragrance. All of the blacks are out there. Black 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 if you want to check those out. And another top recommendation from Widian is Luban Extrait. If you want to know details about these, you can check out my Widian video. Like I said, I'll link it below. Luban is a love. It is this really fantastic ambery vanilla fragrance, most of all, as it dries down. And it's such a luxe experience of a fragrance. I can't say enough things about it, good things about it. It's $375. So if you're interested in this, now's the time to check it out at 30% off, because I rarely see this fragrance go on sale. Luban. Fantastic. You got to give it a chance to dry down on you to understand the comforting, enveloping, luxurious, rich, opulent beauty that it is. A fresh, uplifting fragrance for the summer from another house that I have enjoyed exploring. It's called Shanghai. And I never say the name of the house because I'm not sure if you pronounce the S or not. Comtes or Comte de Parfum. And this fragrance here, well, first of all, let's give it up for the bottle and the beautiful artwork on it. Right, reminiscent of the location, Shanghai. This is citrus and soft florals and a nice woody base, like a really soft, almost watery woody base. Top notes that stand out, lemon, a little bit of like a tea nuance. Think of like a raspberry tea or some other fruity summer tea, something in that direction. In the middle, there's peony, coconut water, and jasmine. So I love the sort of sweet pinkness of this in the middle. I think it is very uplifting and fresh and easily worn across age groups as well. I can see this being really appealing to younger ladies as well as our more mature crowd, and for gentlemen that enjoy wearing softer florals. in their beautiful suits. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Lean in close. I'm an 80s kid and I love me some Fire Marshal Bill. Put a hand up in the comment if you know what I'm talking about, and put 2 hands up in the comments if you're one to be walking around talking about, well, let me tell you something. Oh, Jim Carrey would be proud. Anyway, I'm gonna tell you something, and that is men wearing soft florals or soft fruity florals. It's a thing. It's a thing. Do not be afraid if you're a gentleman out there to explore. Just like women enjoy smelling masculine fragrances on other women, like they may be afraid to wear them themselves. There's something appealing about it on another woman where you're like, man, you smell really good. Or ma'am, you smell really good. The same is true for gentlemen that are wearing softer, less masculine fragrances. I have smelled it myself and it is alluring. Leaves a great scent trail. And it's like moths to a flame burned by desire. Do you know that reference? No, burned by the fire. Can't you see my desire? Janet Jackson. That's the way love goes. Isn't that the song? Let's get back to this. Beautiful as a light spring and summer wear of a fragrance. These retail for $220, so you take 30% off of that. And these are full 100 ml bottles. I happen to have a discovery set from this house in my cart, and these are 15 mils each. So they're like full on travel sprays if you want to explore the house. I also own Hydra, which is a gorgeous mint watermelon, very refreshing, oceanic and ozonic kind of a fragrance. And I also own Sevilla, which that's such a pretty fragrance, and it smells like clean laundry, like clean, fresh pressed laundry. I would like to try Soleila, Sydney. There's so many beauties here. Tokyo. Anyway, check this one out. You may have heard a thing or two about this next house since it's starting to make the rounds on YouTube. And I own several from her, and they're all really enjoyable. I haven't smelled a stinker in the bunch, and I've tried the entire lineup from Andrea Mack. That's who we're talking about. My first love is Pavilion. You've heard me rave about that fragrance and how beautiful it is. It's like this deep, sweet, exotic smelling rose winter fragrance that just captures every cell in my being. I love that. But today I want to talk about Ceramic as a great summertime fragrance. One of the ones that I took with me to the work event where no one complimented me. Yes, I'm still talking about that. Can you believe it? So some of the notes that stand out here for me, this is, well, I'm not going to talk about notes because really when you look at the notes, it doesn't give you a sense of what this smells like. I'm going to just share with you that this is a fragrance that smells like fresh laundry plus very, very soft, white, soapy florals sitting on musk and a woody ambery base. Yeah, it's clean, it's soapy, it's got some nice, very soft, delicate floral touches, non-offensive fragrance, lasts all day, gives you a little scent bubble, but it doesn't project out into the room to offend anyone. And this has been a crowd pleaser for a lot of people. And folks have talked about getting lots of compliments from this and it lasting the entire workday and feeling very comfortable wearing this to work or to crowded environments. Right? So this isn't like a showstopper of a fragrance, but it's definitely one that smells clean and feminine and a little bit slightly musky, like very softly, delicately, almost like a white musk type of fragrance. Really lovely and nicely done. And I appreciate that these bottles are different. If you're a lover of woody fragrances, definitely check out Supernova. And then people also really enjoy Soft Tension, which is sitting out on the website. And if you like watermelon, Solstice from this house does have a nice, almost like a green watermelon opening. The watermelon part of it doesn't last as long as I would like to, which is why I haven't purchased this fragrance. But a lot of folks really love this. And it's sort of a soft, clean, fresh summer fragrance. So you may want to check those out. And by the way, you can do samples on So Avant Garde. Did I mention that? They send nice 2 milliliter samples and they cost not a lot. They're like usually $5 or $6 for the samples. It's a proper sample if you want to try any of these out and don't want to spring for these or blind buy them. Check out the site for samples. This one here, the House of Antonio Croce, I got Unica from them. I believe that was sent to me in PR if I remember, and fell head over heels for Unica. So definitely get a sample of that if it's available on the site. And I purchased 2 more in recent sales. And I want to talk with you all about Ardente. Ardente. Love these quirky bottles. As I mentioned, they remind me of One World Trade Center. And then the top reminds me of Epcot Center. So like, can you go wrong with the combination of that? These are super pricey fragrances. They're sitting out there at $375. So this is a great time to get these if you have had your eye on these. I love this as a zingy, bright, fruity, uplifting, fresh smelling, happy summer fragrance. Notes that stand out: beautiful, soft, perfumey version of a grapefruit note. A soft rhubarb. Rhubarb can be tough for me because it's very tart, but it plays really nicely in here. A beautiful blood orange. There are other fruity notes, some soft florals, and I love that the entire composition is softened up by vanilla and tonka bean, and what stands out to me as a little bit of musk in the base. Maybe some woody tones depending on the day that you wear it. It's nicely wearing. It gives you a nice scent bubble. It will attract attention because it is unique, tart and zingy floral fragrance that is appealing in the air, particularly in heat environments. So late spring, early summer, it will really stand out and have people sniffing and wondering, what is that smell in the air? Ardente, quite nicely done, good performer, and worth checking out. I'll round this video out by sharing some fragrances that I may be adding to cart in addition to the ones that I have shared with you already. I need your advice. Have you tried White Pearl from the House of Oud? I've heard it described as a sort of salty, marini summer fragrance with some comforting tones that smells spa-like. So I'm interested in that. I like the name Up to the Moon from the House of Oud and the way that the color of the eggs swirl together. And I like that it is described as beautiful, sensual, a pear breeze with vanilla and amber. Of course, the new one from House of Oud, Guilty Crush, is out there now. The travel sprays and the samples are already sold out. So if you're interested in that, check it out. I'm going to be talking about that in a video this weekend too. But it's primarily this sort of airy, wispy, strawberry, fruity fragrance with some lipsticky tones. I believe there's iris in the fragrance. It's listed as a lipstick note, but I bet that it's iris and musk and vanilla in the base. I don't love the bottle on this, but some of y'all enjoy that. So, and then of course you have the usual suspects, Keep Glazed and all of that. I'm also interested in, from the Harmonist, really all of them. There's a discovery set out there that I may purchase. I did purchase Moon Glory from So Avant Garde. It is sold out at the moment. I love Moon Glory. What a fantastic honeyed floral balm of a fragrance that is right up my alley. I'm interested in Yin Transformation. One of our fragrance friends here sent me Sacred Water, which is also nice. And if you've tried Sun Force, I'd be interested in hearing your thoughts on that one because I haven't had a chance to try it. And then other ones that are in my cart, there's a full lineup of BDK fragrances on So Avant Garde, and I like a lot of them. And so Pas Ce Soir is fantastic for summertime. Bouquet de Hongrie, I think, is also probably one you'd want to check out. In my cart, I have Vanille Leather, which I've been curious about and didn't want to pay full price. I also have Molecule 01, which is one, goodness, for years and years and years, I've looked at that fragrance and played with samples of it and all of that. And I'm finally going to pull the trigger on that one. The Boticea, the Victorious, is also out on So Avant Garde. The ones that I've tried from that house are a little on the strong side for me. But if you think there are ones that would interest me, please let me know, because now would be the time for me to snag some of these. But I can't comment on them because it's been a while and I quite frankly don't remember what they smell like. Let me pause before this video turns into an hour long. Like I said, the code is Veronica30 on So Avant Garde. I'll link all the details below, and the sale is active now through Monday. And remember, some of these will likely sell out, like Blue Madeleine. I suspect some of the Delinas may sell out too because of folks that have been waiting for those to go on sale. Perhaps a couple of the Tamines will sell out, and then the Andrea Max tend to sell out when people know that they're on sale as well. Even though it's a lesser known house, people are interested in those. Okay, let me stop. Go shop, enjoy yourself, treat yourself. Don't go into debt to treat yourself. But if you have a couple dollars sitting aside and you've been wondering, what can I treat myself with? Maybe this is the weekend to check out the So Avant Garde sale. If you do shop the sale and use my code, thank you so much. I really appreciate you. I will see you in the next video, which is going to post this weekend. And we're going to be talking about some of the new fragrances on the market. So you'll see a couple of repeats from this conversation. Talk to you then. Take care, friends.